Though there, I swear to God, there was an Ingalls there.
Calling you a liar.
No.
Gaslight. What?
Wait, no.
I don't think there ever was an Ingalls there.
There was an Ingalls there.
Can I be honest?
Where that thrift store is now, there was an Ingalls there.
I've never heard of Ingalls. What is that?
It's a hick-ass grocery store. But Atlanta expanded enough to take Woodstock over.
This movie's gonna flop.
Our minds about to pop. But enough of that noise. Time for the B-roll, boys.
Welcome to another throat-ripping episode of B-Roll Boys. Today we examine 1989's action-packed revenge thriller Roundhouse. And boy...
Is it a revenge thriller?
Well, kind of. He's like taking it upon himself to revenge other people.
I guess, yeah.
He's
But anyway,
getting revenge when people immediately fuck him over, like, on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, is that not revenge?
No, a revenge thriller is kind of like where it's plotted a little bit more. I don't know, like he goes in there, he kicks ass, he gets his ass kicked, and then he promptly kills people.
I'm sorry, who are you? What's your name?
Anyway, I'm your host, Wes, and with me I have my co-host, Justin.
I'm Justin.
And I have Harlan.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Nice.
That's a line.
You made some fine fine entrances.
Some creative liberties.
Nailed
it.
So anyway, yeah, let's dip into the plot of this one. So this bar is having problems, and they hire Patrick Swayze to solve those problems, and they get solved.
How did they hear about Patrick Swayze? Like, I guess he's
Everybody's heard about
He's just
him.
like famous around
His name is
the country.
Dalton.
Well, I guess
kicking ass.
so. The bar owner of the Double Deuce,
The W Deuce.
the W Deuce. I guess he would have heard about him because he's in bar circles, right? So like
Went to bar school.
he owns a bar. He has like fights breaking out in his bar, bloodshed every single night.
Like
so he's,
anything
like,
fucking goes at the Double Deuce.
yeah, like for somebody like him, if he even gets like the hint that someone can come in and clean this up, you know, I guess he's gonna go at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we open with the movie, and he's finding him. He's tracking him down, brings him in.
He's like a sociological janitor.
Yeah.
He comes in and gentrifies the bar and leaves.
And I'm just gonna open
It's
with
like we're gonna now only serve non-GMO beer
yeah,
and open a Sprouts next door.
Yeah, you know, well, that's the thing is like with how much he completely changed the atmosphere of the bar just by being there. I'd imagine like eventually he kind of negates his purpose there because like as he changes the environment, the kind of people who come there and pick fights will stop coming there. And then,
Well, that's the point. He's done this a bunch of times. That's why
Yeah,
he gets paid. He gets paid a lump sum up front, and then 500 days or 500 per day for however long it takes for this place to. It's not even like he's making this amazingly great. It just makes it like a functional bar. It just means that people aren't killing each other like in the middle of the bar.
yeah.
okay. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how hard you guys go. Does a bar
Pretty
like
hard.
this exist? Like if I go out to like Cartersville and I go to a bar,
I mean,
like is there just gonna be like 3 simultaneous fights going on and like a team, like an army of bouncers?
If there's not, I'll be disappointed.
maybe
that I
it's
drove
just
all the way
gonna
out there.
seem. Maybe it's just gonna like reveal how truly sheltered I am that I've never come across a place like this. But no, I never have. I've been to what I would consider like shitty and or redneck bars. And I've never seen one where there's just constant pandemonium like at all times.
To the point where the live music, the band is like in a cage for their own protection because people are just constantly throwing shit at them.
Yeah, like throwing glass bottles and just breaking out in these like giant mosh pits and
It doesn't even
smashing
faze
through the
them.
tables and throwing each other over the bar. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure that happens somewhere, but I at least have not seen it, and I don't know if it ever happens to this extent
Well-
where it's like every single day there's like 30 ambulances pulling up to this place and it's just a fucking death trap.
They keep the hospital in business around there.
They do. The doctor lady even says, "Oh, you guys give me a lot of customers."
Yeah.
I guess the hospital's probably in the little parking lot next to this bar and general store too.
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
like 3 buildings in this town total.
It's kind of like a Pokemon town a little bit.
Pretty much. I mean, it's kind of like a Pokemon like Stardew Valley story.
Yeah,
He
it's-
comes in, gets acquainted with the town, falls in love with it. He's got to clean it up. He's got to clean up the rec center.
It's not even necessarily like, oh, it's everything is walking distance from each other. No, everything is in the same like strip mall.
Yeah.
Like you can look out of any building and see every other building.
Which
and purely by coincidence, also the protagonist and the antagonist live like literally across the pond from each other, like just a short jog away.
Yeah, you got like the Scarface mansion right over the river, I guess. He lives in like a hayloft.
Yeah, did Dalton pick that on purpose, like strategically?
I think he was trying to be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that the bad guy of the town was across the way.
I also love how the movie tries to paint this place like it's shitty, but it looks like a really nice flat. And the only thing about it is that it doesn't have AC.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have AC. It doesn't have electricity, I guess.
Yeah, this is like 1980, whatever.
Are
Electricity
you sure
had just been invented.
Well, maybe he had a fan or something. Well, did he have a light on?
Well, I
or
don't know, but
anything?
now that Justin mentions it, like the place was really nicely made out after he moved in. Like
Yeah, it was
he
like-
really fucking made himself at home. Like
It's like, oh, we've got a pre-furnished flat here.
Yeah, he like brought in all the furniture and like hung some paintings on the wall.
Do you think it was disingenuous of him to take advantage of that old man? He's charging him $100 a month to live here. Dude's making $500 a night.
No, because there's no AC.
Yeah.
If there's no AC, no deal.
I guess he did say that he had trouble renting the place. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Probably because he lives literally 100 feet away from a murderer.
From like a crime lord.
from the kingpin of crime.
So yeah, he stumbles in this
Calvin
town,
crime, if you will.
and what the fuck is his name? Paul Wesley?
Brad Wesley.
Brad Wesley.
Wesley, yes.
Brad Wesley.
Even like more douchey white guy name.
So yeah, we find out that he's actually controlling this town, and they like kind of go into like a legal loophole where he
Wait.
can just come in and take everybody's 10% from
Yeah.
every business in town.
Yeah, like
the idea
and-
being that he's the one that built up the place, and now everybody owes him because of it.
J.C.
What-
Penney's
and-
coming there because of him.
Well,
he says.
the idea is that he's just so rich. He's got like everybody in his pocket, like the laws in his pocket and everything. So you can't just go to the police when he does something shitty. But like, I don't know, like
There's a limit.
Well, yeah, like, and we'll get to that.
It's
but
like The
when-
Godfather.
When you see his house, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's that rich, you know? Like, he's rich,
Well,
but,
he's
but
being
not
modest.
Like, he lives within his means, you know?
It's only like a 25-room mansion.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
we have like
I-
a crime kingpin that's pinching pennies here on his living situation.
I guess, I don't know, you could also say that it's like, it takes place like in the middle of fucking nowhere. So, like, I guess compared to everyone else, he is super mega rich.
What do you mean?
he
You've
makes
never
like
heard
$15 an hour.
You've never heard of Jasper, Kentucky?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
Can we talk about the introduction to this guy where he's just like swerving all over a two-lane
yeah.
road?
What a fucking asshole.
he's just evil.
Just for the shit of it.
He's just an evil, rich, like stereotypical action movie bad guy.
Yeah.
That's evil just because he's rich.
Yeah, rich person.
And yeah,
bad.
he's like swerving on the road
God, I
and
hate
almost
wealth.
fucking smashes into Dalton and kills them both.
No, and I feel the need to emphasize, like, he's not just like swerving in the road. Like, he's he's driving down a 2-lane street in the middle of the fucking desert or something, and he's literally like singing along to the radio, and he's like la di di da di di da, and he sees the oncoming car in the opposite direction,
Which is
And
Dalton.
he's just like,
yeah, and he has plenty of
nah,
time
they
to
go
react.
around me.
Yeah, he has plenty of time to react, but he's like no, he can stop for me.
That's just how
Like,
much
what
of an
if-
A+ asshole he is.
What if he just went through with it? Dalton would have plowed into him. They'd both be dead.
Roll credits.
Yeah. Well,
I
That would have been a nice plot twist. It would have ended like the last exorcism.
do you think there would have been like a power vacuum, like with Al Qaeda?
Not
Like
necessarily.
it's like maybe that dude's like dickhead nephew, the one that's got a weak constitution and looks like Uncle Rico. He'd be like
He'd be the
by
leg-
birthright. He like inherits the empire
Yeah,
of this
'cause King-
little
Kingpin
like
is a legacy
500
title.
population town. This really
probably.
kind of does remind me of Letterkenny a little bit.
How many people do you think live in this town? I guess at max would be like a couple thousand.
I'd say like 5,000.
Yeah. And they all go to Double Deuce, which I guess explains how he can afford Dalton at $500 a night. Because he's got, not only does he have Dalton, which is Patrick Swayze, he's the cooler, which is like the head bouncer, one of the greatest terms of the 80s.
Yeah,
But they're paying him $500 a night, plus they also have like 10 other employees. Like, how much do they fucking make every night? Because when they're constant fights, blowing out. Like, how many people's
They
coming
gotta
in there?
keep
Well, yeah, and like
replacing the furniture. And
I know
and
it's
the
a bar.
place-
They make shitloads of money, but buying alcohol is also expensive. Like, it seems like the dude just has endless money to throw out around to fix this place.
yeah, because the place is like packed, but even still, like $500 a night just for one employee.
And then you got to think, yeah, he's paying everybody else.
Oh, plus he pays for Dalton's medical expenses.
And he pays an entire house band to be there every day.
True. Like,
Like, how much
the
money?
premise of this is just like fascinating.
Yeah.
When you dive into the logistics of the really simple framework of this movie, it's great.
Yeah, that's what makes it technically bad, I think. Because when you overthink this movie's kind of a piece of shit. But it's not though. Like,
but I loved every second of
yeah,
it.
same. Like, I guess I should touch on that. Like, I guess I didn't really pick a bad movie. We were all just sitting here enjoying it the whole time.
there were so many moments where, like, because normally when we see something bad, well, that's not true, but like a lot of times, like, we see something and like somebody makes a joke about it and then we all laugh. But like, there were a lot of moments where nothing was said. We just saw something ridiculous and we all lost our shit.
Because we know what's
Yeah,
up.
like when Dalton starts doing Tai Chi, like glistening with sweat in the
Yeah,
front
he's
yard.
like, he's like stretching in the morning and like doing his yoga and shit, and we all
Yeah.
just lost
Alright.
it when we saw that.
Speaking of, let's touch on the ideal of Dalton. He's just like such a mythical Aragorn Jesus figure in this movie.
He's this movie's Christ figure.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I start?
Yes.
His pants. He wears, like, for most of the movie, he wears like really loose, baggy slacks, and I think they're so loose so that he can, efficiently and be
Wear them up to his
unrestricted.
tits.
I think he just wants to be unrestricted when he does his sweet spin kicks.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah,
It's like
offers greater mobility.
he has on dress pants, so he first comes into this town. He's trying to look nice, but you never know when he's going to have to like drag and roundhouse kick somebody.
But yeah,
His pants.
he's always ready.
His pants look like the pants that Goku wore at the end of Dragon Ball Evolution.
Exactly. He did say, "Expect the unexpected."
Oh yeah, he rolls into this bar and he's basically telling all the employees like, "It's my way or the highway," and basically you're bouncers, but you're gonna be fucking nice. And then some guy's like, "Well, what if he calls me a cocksucker?" It's like,
And you better suck his cock.
then you're gonna be nice because all it is two nouns combined to elicit a certain response.
And yeah, then he gives like the ultra Chad answer. The dude's like, "Well, if he calls my mama a whore," and he's just like, "Is she?" And then walks away. And we were all like, "Oh!"
And like, he's also like, he of course he has to be like the ultimate badass. Like, nobody can fucking beat him in a fight, you know?
Nobody.
But like, on top of that, he's also a pacifist, you know? Because like, he's talking to the doctor and she's like, "Do you ever lose?" Or no, she's like, "Do you ever win?" And he's like, "Nobody wins in a fight."
And that must have been a pretty serious wound, because normally he's like in a bathroom, like stitching himself up.
This one, he's like, "Oh fuck! I guess my organs are gonna come out of this one. I probably need to get legitimate medical attention." He's even got like a self-surgery kit that he just keeps on him, and he
Yeah.
refuses anesthesia, just so he
Oh, yeah.
remembers what it feels like.
Yeah. She's like, "Do you enjoy pain?" And he just doesn't answer, I think.
I don't even remember what the answer is to that.
Yeah. Also,
It's something.
But he's got a
yeah.
smile on his face while he's getting stapled.
when he's alone in his hayloft by himself, he spends his nights just like reading like some shit like Henry David Thoreau or like Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah.
Did we ever see if he actually was? Because we were
I don't
making
know.
jokes about that. We're like, "Oh, how fucking great would it be if he's just like reading classic literature?"
Yeah, there's all these like magazine cover shots of him like sitting in a windowsill reading shirtless.
You know what
As
that
you
looks
do.
like? It's like the cover of one of those books you buy at Kroger that are targeted at like middle-aged moms, you know? That are like Passion by Night, you know? something like that,
But that's this movie. It's the same thing, but for dorks.
like us.
For us.
He's
I
also,
mean,
and
they
also-
marketed this well.
He also mentions that, of course, he has a degree in philosophy from NYU. So yeah, if it's not clear, like, Patrick Swayze's character is just like perfect
He's
in
an
every way.
enigma.
Like, he has zero flaws, and you love him for it.
yeah, they're like, "How'd you get into this life, Dalton?" He's like, "Guess I'm just lucky."
He's probably like trilingual too. He's really worldly, and he's probably done some weird shit in another country.
I don't know. Just,
Like while volunteering, and he has like a Rambo storyline.
yeah, maybe.
He's like building schools in Uganda. And he has to have a character building moment there.
While he's fighting off wild tigers and shit.
I mean, Hulu's probably making like a prequel series now about Roadhouse. I'm surprised nobody's like went into like his backstory, because he's kind of like John Wick in this movie. He's like unkillable and just constantly beating everyone's ass.
This is very John Wick-esque.
And he's got like godlike Saiyan hair going on.
Yeah.
Like he's got some product.
We're watching the DVD menu right now, and I am full mast. Like looping the same 7 clips or whatever.
Oh yeah, like no matter how many times I see Patrick Swayze tackle this guy off a motorcycle
In midair.
it doesn't get old.
And I gotta say, considering this is Roadhouse, the Blu-ray is kind of phenomenal. Like,
Oh yeah, I was
compared to most Blu-rays nowadays are like a static image with like a play button.
Which
But
I like.
this one's got like a full-on like menu with like scenes going on in the background. It's got like a nice font.
I was really disappointed though, because after we finished the movie, I was like, dude, we're gonna watch the deleted scenes, and we went to the special features, and they are theatrical trailer and resume film.
That's a feature. Can I just say real quick, I'm gonna sound like a poopy butthole here again. I don't like animated like Blu-ray or DVD menus, because a lot of times what happens is that they put some like cheesy CGI cinematic beforehand. I almost like just like the super plain ones, because you can get right to the movie. But I have like the collector's edition of Terminator 2, and I have to wade through so much stupid shit just to get to the movie. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go to select scenes, because fun fact, if you hit the first scene, like in select scenes, instead of hitting play movie, you skip like a lot of the intro stuff. So I always just go for the scene select, and then I have to wait for some little graphic to go through and some little animation. I'm just like, I don't care, I want the movie.
I'm cool with both. I like them going the extra mile, but yeah, sometimes I like the simplicity of just click and fucking play.
Well, I just hate it when they have like stupid bullshit enabled by default. Like I watched Wreck-It Ralph on Blu-ray a few weeks ago, and like I paused the movie because I needed to take a leak, and by default it had like an intermission with Chris Hardwick turned on. So like you pause the movie, and instead of pausing the movie, it played some trivia thing with Chris
Really?
Hardwick. Yeah,
What?
I have never seen that
It played
before.
some trivia thing with Chris Hardwick, and I
What
was
if you
like,
have to answer the phone?
yeah,
Like-
I was like, what the fuck is this? And yeah, and then he was like, don't worry, if you don't want to hear my voice, you can turn this off in the Blu-ray settings. And I was like,
You have to go
"What?"
into settings.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
why is that default? Fuck that.
Okay,
Absolutely not.
that's
Is total
crossing the line.
horseshit.
Okay, but anyway, Roadhouse.
I'm okay with the like cycling of clips that we're seeing, but whenever we're getting into these like huge animations in between menus, like no, that's for the birds.
yeah.
I feel you.
I don't like
feel
it.
you. But Dalton,
Dalton, he's
the sex machine.
just he's perfect.
That's another
Why-
great line. Like, a nice lady comes up to him, and she's like, "Hey, Dalton, why won't you look at me?" And he like turns around, he's like, "I'm shy." It's like everything he says in this movie is just like a stitch.
And I also love when he gets recruited by the bar owner. Like I don't know where the fuck he is originally, but like he's somewhere else far away, I guess, far enough to warrant a plane
Yeah,
ticket.
and that bar's already been taken care of.
Because he's like, I've got your plane ticket right here, and he's like, I don't fly, and he's like, well then when can I expect you? And he's like, don't. I'll get there. Like what the fuck does that mean?
I don't fly. It's too dangerous.
He's like, don't expect me. I'll get there. What does that mean? Like
Freelancers are so mysterious.
I bet he ran there.
Confirm.
I bet he ran there.
He Naruto ran.
No, like it would not surprise me if there was a deleted scene of him just like
Well, just
jogging.
skirting down the road like Forrest Gump.
I bet he fucking he just like ran across the country to this bar.
You got MapQuest.
It's like
or...
Goku's fucking training across the Dragon Bridge. Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, dude. Dalton is totally a Dragon Ball character.
Look at me, I'm making Dragon Ball references.
He's basically Tien. He just needs a third eye. Justin's just sitting there. One day we'll get him. We'll get him.
Nope.
Well,
I'm not
it's
watching
fine.
Dragon Ball.
It's
But
fine, yeah.
let's I guess let's dive into the conflict.
I'm not watching the One Piece of kung fu things. Sorry.
Can we pause the episode for a second? I said,
Yeah, we just watched Your Hunter from the Future again.
this movie's a lot like Yor.
It very much is.
Yeah.
Of just an untouchable Aragorn that
Yeah.
like just kind of has
Like,
his
just
way with
perfect.
whatever.
I love
encounters
movies.
very little challenge.
I love movies where the protagonist is just without flaw. You
I
know?
like that too.
Like,
Well, they try to give him a flaw in that they give us the clue that he's killed somebody before.
it's not a
But-
flaw so much as a dilemma. You know?
Well, and it's
Yeah.
like it's fucked with him,
It's
and
his
he's got
checkered past,
this
man.
like moral conundrum over it. But Sam Elliott says like, "Hey, somebody stuck a gun in your face, and you did something about it,"
Stop being a pussy.
and he pled self-defense. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well,
Sam Elliott's his mentor. I guess his bar bouncer mentor, because that happens.
yeah,
And
that's his it's his sensei. It's his master Master Roshi. Yeah.
there we go.
Nice.
Nice. Woo!
you did it.
He did it.
You've met your quota for the year.
Ah, dude, yeah, I'm not gonna expect another one from you for a while.
God, I'm never watching anime again.
So when he does get like a deep enough wound to go to the hospital, he woos the lady doctor there, and they start going out. And little do we know that she's
He takes her to that bar.
Oh yeah,
The same
it's like-
bar that like had 3 murders this week, and he's like, "You want to go?"
It's like taking your first date to Waffle House. The doctor, she's the niece of the hardware store owner, which is right across the street from Double Deuce.
Is that what it was?
Conveniently enough, I guess it was. I mean, there's like
Hardware
tools
store?
and
Yeah, there's just like paint everywhere.
there's like a auto.
No, I meant she was the niece of the hardware store owner.
yeah,
yeah.
her pictures on the wall.
That was one of the plot points, Harlan.
Huh.
A lot of nieces and nephews.
All right, hit play. I need to.
Oh, yeah, we need to watch Roadhouse again. You guys ready? We watched Roadhouse and your no. We've been here for 12 hours.
Yeah, then we watched Predator like 6 times.
No, but so I guess so. This is the weird part to me. So he's taken 10% off the top of every single business in town. That's how he's built his incredible wealth and his very modest like 20-room mansion.
Well,
So why would he try to destroy like the bar? That's the most profitable thing in town.
Yeah,
it
that's
has
like
to
your
be.
main source of income.
Like
no, it was because Dalton fired his shitty nephew that works there because he was taking money out of the till.
well, it's that, but it's not just his nephew. Apparently, he had a thing for the doctor, even though she's like 30 years younger than him,
I mean,
and he got
Rich
pissed
guys,
off
man, they do
because
that.
he
You
was
see
just
who Elon Musk is dating?
he was sitting outside of his house, smoking a cigar and sipping his wine, looking across the lake as Patrick Swayze fucked that doctor on top of the roof.
he's literally just watching from his rocking chair. He's just like,
Yeah, like she comes over to his house and they have sex, and she wakes up and looks at him. He's just sitting naked on the roof, smoking a cigarette. And she's like, "Come on, Dalton, you want to stay here?" He's like, "Nah."
I've got asses to kick. Got justice to serve.
I got bars to clean up.
well,
But this makes Brad Wesley much more bold and starts committing like just grand acts of
Yep.
violence.
I'm sorry. Before we move on too far.
Okay.
So his nephew gets fired from the bar because Patrick Swayze calls him out for like stealing from the till.
He's costing him $150 a night.
150
he
a
says.
night, and I'm like, is that really like that big of a deal?
They're shelling out half
to
a
the
grand for
kingpin?
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. Well, like to the kingpin, it's like, is it really worth like fucking up one of your main sources of income because your nephew was stealing $150 a night? Like,
Well, I guess it's kind of this thing's like, I install my goons in this place, and whatever happens, happens, and who cares? I get my money. I mean, the place is still thriving.
but when you'd think that the kingpin would think of that as his nephew stealing from him, you know?
Actually, yeah, because most of that money would be going to him.
Yeah.
But it's his fuck up nephew, so it's like whatever keeps him like off meth.
Actually,
I
yeah,
guess.
that wouldn't even make sense. This
He
is
does look like Doyle McPoyle.
this is great for the town.
He's
This
got
is
the
great
mustache.
for the bad guy. There's like no downsides to him turning his bar around. But instead, he's like, "You fucked my girl," and then. But like, even if he has like the cops in his pocket and they're in the middle of fucking nowhere, he has a goon with a monster truck, and he takes this
is the
fucking
finest
thing.
whip
That's
I've
like
ever
his-
seen in any movie.
That's like his thing. He's like fucking Big Wheel from Spider-Man. Like he is
What a
he
reference.
is just a part of the gang to run over shit with his truck. That's all he brings to the table.
Yeah, and he just starts blowing up people like businesses in town, It's like, you can't blow up a building. I don't care if you're giving the bumfuck nowhere sheriff money.
Well, like,
I guess he probably bought out the government.
Yeah.
That HW administration that was in.
He paid off Bush Senior.
That was in Brad's pocket.
well, like, yeah.
It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Let's talk more about Big Wheel. Like, I guess it's just.
You mean
I guess
Tinker? That's Tinker's truck.
Wait, was it Tinker? I thought it was another guy.
Well, it showed
I thought
like
it was like the
three
mini boss guy that was on the motorcycle.
It showed like 3 different people driving it. I don't know who's fucking owns
I thought it was another Spider-Man reference.
because this monster truck's like 6 feet off the ground, and there's a part where they
More than
drive
that.
through a car dealership, like as
What was
penance.
the point of that? Yeah, because like it seemed like it was just the purpose of the scene was just to show that like this bad guy can literally get away with anything.
Yeah, he
But,
basically
like,
had his own killdozer.
because like they show up to this Ford dealership, right? Like this is like a franchised dealership.
I
And
think it's Ford. Is it Ford?
it was Ford.
It is
yeah,
Ford,
it was. Yeah.
Because I heard someone talk about like, oh, you buy Detroit cars, boy.
No, I specifically remember the Ford sign.
And
Yeah, it was definitely.
But yeah, like he's like, do it, Tinker, and yeah, they like try to stop him. They pull him out of the way of the car, and then yeah, he like drives his truck through the building and like runs over like 6 different cars. And I also want to point out that it's very obvious that like, so he drives the car like through a glass wall. And then all the way through the building, and then out the other glass wall, and it's very obvious that this set doesn't have a roof, just because of how much sunlight there is.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that? It was very bright. Like,
I didn't, but for the sake of keeping the scene lit, I'm cool with it.
yeah.
And also, I feel like it probably wouldn't have been very
would've been-
intelligent to drive an actual vehicle through a building.
Yeah, that probably would have been dangerous,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But,
I
like,
thought it was funny.
I mean, not
So,
that that's never happened in a movie before.
He's just
but,
gonna get on the phone though and be like, "Hey Ford, John Ford, this dude just destroyed like 6
Gerald
of our
Ford,
fucking cars, man, and I got
ex-president.
20 witnesses in the parking lot."
I like that we're making up the CEO of Ford's name when it's like Henry Ford is the actual well-known guy.
Well, it's John Ford now.
Yeah,
Henry Ford's great
Freddie Ford.
grandson.
Franklin Ford.
Freddie Ford the Fourth.
Freddie Fuchs Ford.
So anyway.
Fred
But
Fox.
no, yeah, he just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
like I don't care how many police you have in your pocket. You can't just drive
Yeah,
through a fucking
'cause-
dealership and destroy everything.
Because before that, he literally blew up a building. He blew up the hardware store.
Yeah. And like and yet each time he fucks up somebody's livelihood, he's always like somebody's always like, oh, it's okay, you have insurance, right? And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like you're not okay just because you have insurance.
I mean, maybe for this Ford dealership, but like this little mom and pop hardware
Yeah,
store,
like,
like, that
he's
guy's
fucked.
fucked.
Yeah, like that's his life.
And someone saw them plant something in there. It's across the street from the Double Deuce. There's 2,000 people in there every night. See something, say something. I don't know, man. There's
like
just
that
certain
we're
things like
creating a
that.
social ecosystem for this town.
Yeah. Get your fucking shit together, Jasper, Kentucky.
Oh, Jesus
but man,
Christ.
yeah. Then he starts like fucking with. So his mentor comes to visit, and they're all like hanging out, having a good time. So obviously he's
Sam
gonna die.
Elliott with Dave Grohl hair.
Yeah, Sam Elliott plays Wade Garrett, the most badass ever.
Aside from Dalton.
Yeah, they're both they're the 2 most badass dudes.
They're the
ever.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan of this movie,
Basically,
for sure.
yeah.
Well, I think more apt is like Dalton is Yor, whereas Wade is Spike Spiegel. You know?
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, so
Sam
he-
Elliott is Zoe Deschanel in The Happening.
yeah, throughout this whole thing, you can see like the bar is getting better and better. So I guess like probably a few months have went by because it looks completely different than
Like
it did at first.
completely, like
They
whereas
had-
before like
Cleaned
every-
up all the teeth and bits of blood.
yeah, like before like all like the support pillars in the middle of the room are like wooden and they're like they've like carved shit into it, and like now like everything's like it looks like
I guess they sanded it down.
everything's like it looks like a 50s diner almost, you know?
Kinda, but like really big open space. Like there's still pool tables.
it gets
and-
really colorful. Like it really is very gentrified, you know?
Yeah, and they go from like a 9 Inch Nails music video set to like having an actual like open space where the
a
band
stage,
isn't getting
yeah.
glass bottles thrown at them constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he brings his goon squad in there to like just I guess just cause chaos. They just start fights and everything. And then we have like the precursor to the end boss fight and he brings up like a pool cue and he's using it like a fucking bow staff, like he's Donatello or something.
That was awesome.
And like the best part is like he uses it to pole vault and backflip onto the stage.
It's amazing.
Meanwhile, the Jeff Healey band is still playing.
Yeah, like they don't skip a beat. They're just like, this is another night.
With the
at
blind
Double
guitarist,
Deuce.
by the way, that was an interesting touch. Or he like plays it on his lap. I've seen people do that before. Like they play like a guitar on.
I have seen
like,
that,
flat.
but usually it's like a steel guitar, like a separate instrument where it's like raised up a little bit, so you kind of play it like a dobro. But he just plays a normal electric guitar like that, and he's doing like licks and solos and shit.
Oh yeah, and it's not convincing in the
yeah,
slightest.
like
Well, he does play like that.
Well, I guess we're all three guitar players, so like we like know that shit. Like we can pick it out, but like.
yeah, but it's like this is like Ralph Macchio Crossroads level of lazy. Like, come on. Like it's not even nothing this guy's playing is anywhere close.
Well, he actually plays though like that.
If he
But
plays
it
like
doesn't
that,
look,
cool,
it
but
doesn't
he's
look
not,
like it in the movie.
But
It's
he's
not
not
synced.
playing the.
It's
I
not
will say,
synced well.
It's not in every scene that it's like that, because I did notice a few where it looked like he was actually playing what I was hearing, but it's mostly when he's like soloing where like it just doesn't match at all.
Yeah, for sure.
When he's sitting there riding the first fret.
But yeah, and then we get to Dalton's low point because I guess everyone gets their ass kicked, and he
The all is lost moment.
yeah, Brad Wesley gives him like the Joker ultimatum from Dark Knight. He's like, you get to save one of them, and he flips a coin. Oh, you won't know who I picked. And then he just like leaves fucking Wade there by himself.
Well, that was super weird to me because he's like, I'm gonna flip a coin, and then he's like, I'd love to tell you which one it was, but, and then he hangs up, and then immediately after he hangs up, Wade Elliott walks in and he's like, oh, there were 3 of them that kicked my ass, and I'm like, what? So that like, he was literally like outside.
He just stumbles in.
That was really confusing to me.
Is that why Dalton thought he was cool? He's like, okay, you can just chill here. But then he comes back and then he's stabbed in the chest.
Yeah.
He's like,
And left
I
on top of
tails.
the bar.
Yeah, they
It's
just
kind of
left
like
him there.
the horse head in The Godfather.
Yeah. And then he goes back out to his like barn bungalow and has a fucking epic boss fight with like the head henchman.
Yeah, that was like the mini boss before the boss.
Well, and what kicks it off?
This is the Indiana
is
Jones
the first
heavy.
explosion when he blows up Emmett's place, his landlord.
Yeah. He's just blowing up places left and right.
He blew up the place, and somehow, like, he blew up the entire house. The entire place is on fire, but somehow Emmett is totally fine, and he like carries him out in his jammies.
His long johns.
His fucking long johns.
Got that drip.
Yeah, it
Chad.
does.
And then yeah, he like sees the bad guy like riding away on his bike, and then yeah, that's when he chases him on foot and like tackles him off the motorcycle.
Yeah, he jumps over the motorcycle, tackles him off.
Fucking great.
It was amazing. And they have a pretty decent fight too.
And this is where so much of this reminds me of Double Dragon, is because none of these guys, these like known crime lords, have any guns until the end.
Yeah, there's no guns until the climax of the movie. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, this is Kentucky. They should all be packing, right? The dude has a monster truck.
You're 3 years old and you have a gun.
It's
But these
legally
guys are
required
just
to have a
going
gun.
around with like Rambo knives in
Yeah.
their fists.
It really reminds me of like a kung fu movie. It definitely has that formula because like none of those ever have guns in them either, even the modern ones.
I mean, and to be fair, that would
Cool.
definitely make it less fun.
Yeah.
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 But I just like the idea of like, oh no, these untouchable bosses, whatever are they gonna do? And it's just like the same 5
Yeah.
guys
And I
with
gotta-
like Bowie knives, and that's it.
And I gotta ask, do you think there was any pacing issues in this, Harlan? Because I think this movie's great.
Yeah, it's great.
It's 2 hours. It doesn't feel like that at all. There's like an action beat like every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I was
someone's
loving
getting
it.
fucked
No, yeah,
up.
this is a great movie. Love it.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't bored in the slightest.
Oh, I had a blast.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I liked it a lot.
Are we getting there?
Huh?
We're getting there.
Well, we haven't discussed the final boss fight.
We still got to talk about a few things. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the penultimate boss. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so he's fighting this guy, and this guy is like clearly his foil. You know, he's like the evil Dalton. He's like the
He's Bizarro Dalton.
He's like the for hire guy that like he doesn't have any standards and morals. You know, like
He's the Indiana Jones heavy,
yeah,
essentially.
Yeah.
He's the
And-
guy that gets mulched in the propeller in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, exactly. Except whereas you know the metaphorical propeller here is the
Dalton.
throat ripping. Yeah. Dalton. Yeah. Yeah, they have like an awesome fight, and then like they like throw sand at each other on the beach, and then but then the best part is he's on the ropes, and then he like dodges his punch and like uses a tree as leverage to like break his leg, and then
bone breaks in this.
Yeah, he goes for those fucking legs and knees all the time.
Yeah, he's tearing ACLs left and right.
Yeah. And then he gets him and he fucking just like.
Oh wait, that's when he delivers the line though.
Oh yeah, he
grabs him up like he's got him on the ropes.
Yeah, he like has him by he's holding him by his hair.
By his big beautiful hair.
Yeah, and he like whispers in his ear and he's like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
I forgot that line came from this.
Yeah. And then he pulls like a piece on him, a gun, and that's when he like roundhouses it away and then decides to kill him.
Yeah,
he rips his throat out.
Not only does he rip his throat out, as if that wasn't enough, he rips his throat out with his bare hands and then spin kicks him into the lake.
And they leave him there.
King.
He doesn't even give him a proper burial.
But then his doctor girlfriend runs up and checks on him. I'm like, are you not concerned about Patrick Swayze at all?
Yep, that's a ripped
No,
throat.
because then we're going into Patrick Swayze. I remember the main villain, or Brad, he tells Dalton at one point, he's like, you and I, we're not so different. I'm like, here we go.
You also got to see it from the doctor's perspective. You see these two dudes on the beach. Dalton's still standing there. This other guy's face down in a lake. Who are you going to ask if they're okay?
Your boyfriend?
I mean, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. She's a doctor.
It's like, oh, this is one of the goons from like your Psycho X.
Like, yep, you got his trachea. It's on the ground.
Yeah, his little necky poo.
His little neck.
Made him dead.
And then
Neck of the Woods by Silver Sun Pickups.
Then he goes to confront Bradley himself.
He storms up to the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, and he's got like a trophy room because I guess he just likes to hunt things because of course he's evil and rich. So
of course.
He's got a head room.
Oh, he's not hunting these things himself. He's buying these. He's got like taxidermized grizzly bears.
Oh, but before
this guy absolutely buys that shit
when he
like
first
illegally.
gets to the house. So when he finds Sam Elliott with the knife in his chest, he takes the knife with him, and then uses it to pin the gas pedal down of the car so that the car will like fucking like ram into the yard.
Yeah.
And the fucking like there's like 5 goons and they all start shooting at the car and one of them has like perfect fucking aim. Like he like shoots this car like he's fucking shooting skeet out of the air, He fucking pins it and the car like explodes.
Yeah, the car goes off a ramp and does a barrel roll and he shoots like the underbelly of it perfectly and it blows up.
Like first try.
Like the droid control ship just blows up.
Like this whole mansion siege is like Commando.
And then how do you pin a gas pedal down with a knife?
By being Dalton, yeah. I guess a cinder block is too easy.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have that readily available.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me there's not a single cinder block in this like little hick town? Every piece of furniture in every person's house is probably made of them.
one of Dalton's really heavy books.
He just like weighs it down with Don Quixote.
He's just reading an encyclopedia at night.
But yeah, man, like the end fight.
A Tale of Two Cities was quite the light reading.
But he's actually like going toe to toe with him.
He like pins the steering or the. Why do I keep saying steering wheel? He pins the fucking gas pedal down with like Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
Oh, that would be very
some sort of like
be very
metaphor
telling.
there. Yeah.
That would have been. That's too smart for
It's like
this
a
movie.
tiny little book.
Yeah, it is.
But there's like 10 copies.
He got the hardback.
He's one of those people. He just gives it to people.
He sends it with like there's like 10 copies of The Art of War, and he like puts them together with a rubber band, and under the rubber band is the receipt from Barnes and Noble.
Oh, please, Borders.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, this is Kentucky.
No, yeah. So then we have the he does like the gauntlet, the boss rush, through the mansion. He like takes down bad guys, and it's pretty cool. But then we get to the trophy room. That's where one of my favorite kills happens.
Well, it wasn't even a kill. He survived though.
No,
I totally thought that they were gonna try to pitch us.
I'm
this guy
pretty
got
sure
killed.
I could have sworn they were, but yeah, the guy gets back up. But
I guess
yeah.
he just falls down and goes to sleep.
Wes, tell us what happens.
Oh well, Harlan. He goes like a tanker is going through trying to find Dalton with his shotgun, and I guess he's like, oh man, this room always freaks me out. I guess he's just I'm starting to think Tinker's a little slow. And
He kind of stupid.
he's looking up at the bear, and it starts moving. He's like, oh. The Dalton just like fucking pushes it over on him, basically.
he
and he just
pushes
knocks
the
him
bear
over.
over on him, and yeah, like it's a really slow fall. Like
Broke his posture
he
bar.
had plenty of time to react, and not only does he not get out of the way, but he starts shooting at the bear as if he thinks it's real.
Yeah, he unloads his whole clip on the bear. Like, there's like no question in his mind that it's not the bear.
No, yeah, he's like, oh my god, a polar bear in Kentucky.
Are you implying that the rest of these henchmen are like Harvard-educated people?
Well, no, but I'm just saying,
Hey man, if Dalton has a fucking PhD in psychology.
It was philosophy, and you can't get shit with that degree. That's why he's a cooler.
Yeah, he is.
No, you know that
That's why he's
Dalton's the
not
kind of guy
teaching at
that
MIT or whatever.
you know Dalton's the kind of guy that he didn't get his degree so that he could get a good job. He got the degree for the knowledge.
He got it for the personal growth.
Yeah,
That's right.
he did it for himself.
Yeah.
But then he starts going toe to toe with Brad. Like,
Who's like a
how's
much
he
older
keeping
man.
up? How's
yeah,
he keeping
why is
up
this
with
even
him?
a fight? Because like Brad is like at least like 60 fucking years old,
Because
and
he's got like
Dalton-
caveman spears lying
Dalton is
around.
in the fucking prime of his life, so this should be like no fucking match. And
I mean-
and yet
I know he's been like battle wounded at this point. Like, he's had the other fights and shit, but like, you still think like one punch from him is going to take this fucking dude down.
yeah.
Like, he looks pretty frail.
Well,
he's not like buff or anything.
He's not even really wounded until Brad gets the drop on him and he shoots him in the left shoulder.
Yeah.
So he does have that, but like
which results in nothing.
well, yeah, and we also kind of get the idea very early on in the movie that like
It's 'cause pain is just a
pain is not a
feeling.
big deal for him. Like he gets like sliced and like stabbed several times in this movie, and it's like never a big deal. Like he just kind of deals with it.
Yeah, he sews himself up and he's good.
Yeah,
the 80s,
but,
man.
But yeah,
he
now he gets
operates
shot.
into like Far Cry logic.
Now he
All
gets
these snowflakes couldn't do that.
all of a sudden he gets a tiny little bullet wound and at the end of the movie, and that's enough to level the playing field between him and this guy like twice his age.
Not even that, dude. He's like fucking Terminator. Because like he doesn't even like kill him. Like he's about to rip his throat out. Like he's got his stance and his monkey claw thing.
He's about to do the claw.
He's about to give him the claw, and then like
Give him
the
the
other
business.
townspeople all come in with like shotguns, and they start blowing him away like it's RoboCop, and he's still standing there. They shoot him like 4 times with the shotguns, and then he's finally dead.
And he's
Yeah.
gonna fall through the glass table, and the sheriffs come in. They're like, "What happened here?" And all these hicks are like, "I didn't see nothing."
Yeah, one of them just collected all their guns and ran out of the house.
Like literally, it was like, thanks for coming to our buyback.
Do you think this is a Second Amendment cautionary tale? This is what happens when the populace don't got guns.
Roadhouse was ahead of its time.
Yeah, but I guess that's
That's
the
what happens when you
character
let an unarmed elderly man run a crime empire in your hick town.
I guess that's the character arc is like he's like dealing with the guilt of killing a person, and he's like, am I a monster?
They
Do
killed
I
like
enjoy
5
kill-"
people on the way to that.
Yeah, well, yeah, like what's with that? Is he like he's like clearly struggling with the decision to or not to kill this bad guy at the end, but on the way to get to him, he already killed like 6 dudes.
Well, Wade
So,
Garrett
like,
reasoned with him. He's like, he's got no other choice but to kill him, and so he's fine with it now.
Well,
He's come at it with a philosophical standpoint.
yeah, it was self defense earlier, kind of, but now it would be in cold blood, you know.
What you're describing, Harlan, is called ludonarrative dissonance.
Is
yeah,
Is it?
yeah. It's basically it's kind of like when you play a
No, I know what it is, but how is that this?
well, in that he's like racked with guilt of the idea of like potentially killing this guy, but he killed like all of his henchmen on the way there, like with no problem.
I
Well, because
see.
they were actively trying to kill him too. But at the very end, this is the final guy. This is the final boss. He's like, you know what?
And he's already got him beat, so it's
Yeah,
like,
he's
yeah.
I guess he's unarmed and okay.
Like before then, he was killing. Like they were still
he
coming
turned
at him.
down the fatality part of the fight.
Exactly.
well, clearly,
He
Brad
had a
is-
chance to X-ray. He just put his controller down.
I'm surprised Brad did as well as he did in the fight, because when he's like fending him off with like his fucking like throwing spears, at one point he grabs another throwing spear and starts whacking him with the flat end of it.
Yeah, he's not very smart.
Yeah.
That's not proper form. He should have gotten the pool cue.
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, that's pretty much like literally it. Like the credits
ends-
just roll up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the police show up and they're like, "What happened here?" And yeah, like you guys said, they're just like, "We didn't see nothing," and then that's just it.
Yeah,
the
he
cop's
walks
like-
off into the sunset with his lady doctor, and
Cool.
everyone's cool.
All's well.
Yeah. All right, so this movie kicks fucking ass. What do you guys give it?
8.
8.
8?
I'll give it an 8.
I'll give it an 8 because, like, goddamn, this movie's so fucking entertaining. Like, I
Awesome.
guess from like a flawed standpoint, like even that wouldn't only bring it down to like maybe a 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, even us, like
Do
Sorry.
you guys think this movie's really intentionally cheesy?
yes.
It's gotta be, man. Like, there's no way it's not.
I mean,
like,
this was
it's,
like this is the point of the time. Everything was like. I'm actually surprised that they got Patrick Swayze of all people, and they didn't have like Arnie or, one of these or Sly Stallone or one of these other hunks that's like 3 times his size.
exactly. Like, this is
Like
just
Patrick Swayze looks like a normal dude compared to them.
Yeah.
like this is what you call fucking movie.
And he's
It's,
actually
it's
This
entertaining.
is cinema.
he's also a dramatic actor in other things where those actors, except for I guess Rocky, like usually are not.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just a good time. I recommend everyone who hasn't seen Roadhouse to watch fucking Roadhouse.
Yeah, I
You're gonna have
loved
a
it.
great time. I have 2 copies, so just let me know.
Why do you have 2 copies?
I have DVD and Blu-ray separately. They didn't come packaged
Yeah.
together.
In case he like walks
'Cause-
into, he usually carries them around. If he walks into a house that doesn't have a Blu-ray player or like a PS4, he's like, "Oh fuck, I got you covered, fam."
Yeah,
He even has the digital copy like on a dongle.
yeah. So like, Roadhouse is always ready to go.
Yeah,
It's always Roadhouse time.
laser disc in his car.
Yeah, but do we have any trivia for this masterpiece?
Oh yeah.
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 All right, let's see. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Patrick Swayze once commented that during production he was not sure he would live through the making of this movie.
Was he like doing his own stunts? And shit?
Apparently, like everybody did all their own stunts in this movie.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay,
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I hope this trivia makes me like this movie that much more.
I thought the
because
stunt work was pretty good.
Some
Like,
of
it
the, some
didn't
of,
look
some
like
of the
people were
trivia's funny,
pulling
some of it's
punches
like,
that
like-
hard.
but-
This is one of the cheesiest 80 movies of all time, but it's just so well done. It's like a fine like fromage.
Well, like, yeah, how many fucking sick backflips did we see that apparently the actors actually did? You know,
That's true. That dude actually pole
look
vaulted.
at that. He fucking actually tackled him off that motorcycle. Amazing.
I mean, it's going to be hard for a stunt double to match his physique and hair without it looking totally fake.
dude,
So-
he actually did that stretching.
He
And
did that Tai Chi
He,
right
he
there.
actually hugged Sam Elliott.
Normally they need a body double for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we got?
They need like little vanity towels that hide their boners.
Apparently, Patrick Swayze's fame caused problems during filming. A pickup truck containing a group of middle-aged blonde women attempting to drive right up to the star's trailer to meet the actor.
What is this, Beatlemania?
During the big fight by the river, a raft of Swayze-loving ladies sailed by. A female extra playing a waitress was too busy staring at Swayze to watch where she was going and tripped, spilling all of her drinks on another extra. So I just wanted to reiterate that, like, this is basically just like a Patrick Swayze, like,
This is pretty
So
true to life.
he's Dalton in
biopic.
real life.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, he's just swimming in bitches. Like,
That is
he
amazing.
can't fucking help himself.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I feel like Wes would have been the same way if he was in this movie, though.
Yeah, it's true.
If you were in like little Daisy Duke cutoffs.
Yeah, I'd be an extra in the background. I'd just be like dumbfounded. I was watching like Eeyore.
Excuse me, sir. I really like Ghost.
You're
So-
awesome in Red Dawn.
So Marshall Teague, I guess, is the guy that plays the foil for Dalton. I forget the character's name, but yeah, he's one of the bad guys.
Dirt bike guy.
Yeah, that gets tackled off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marshall Teague told a story that he took his mother to the premiere of the movie. When the fight against Dalton happens and he says the line, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison," his mother jumped up and proudly shouted, "That's my boy!"
Oh my god.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so wholesome.
I know, right?
Hell yeah. You know, I'm proud of my son.
I don't think my mom would have had the same reaction to me
I
saying
don't know.
that.
If your mom saw you getting the shit kicked out of you by Patrick Swayze.
I mean, she did show me Dirty Dancing and Ghosts, so I guess she liked Patrick Swayze.
There we go.
Who doesn't?
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
So Patrick Swayze reportedly agreed to do this movie so long as he could keep any and all of his wardrobe once filming was completed. He had a similar demand for his costuming from Ghost, but his agent was unable to secure the deal. Blah, blah. Just thought that was really funny because I brought up the pants earlier. He did it for the pants.
There must have been just super comfy.
He loved that gi, that karate gi that he's tucking into his mom jeans.
Yeah.
I like to think he just didn't get a paycheck. It was just the clothes.
He got $500 a night.
Last one. It was announced in September 2015 that this film is to be remade starring Ronda Rousey. But after her November fight loss to Holly Holm, all movie plans were scrapped. Thank God.
This does not need
it doesn't need a remake.
Jesus Christ.
And
But
not
some
only that,
movies are perfect.
Not only that, but if they did remake it today, they'd try to play it like super serious, and it'd be like
a dark and gritty version
it
of
would,
Roadhouse.
it would totally they would totally miss the point of the movie and like just play it super straight.
There's some movies like this that you just can't recreate, like RoboCop and things like that. Like
or
that,
Total Recall.
Exactly. That's
like
why these new remakes suck. It's not just that they're remakes; it's that they're largely products of their time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, you don't want to... Point Break is another one of those. Like, that does not exist in another time outside of the very early 90s. Same thing with Total Recall. Same thing with this. I don't need, like you're saying, some, like, NC-17 Saw-level version of this. Or that has some, like, big social point to make. Like, I'm good. Let this be dumb.
It's just totally... Yeah. Just let it. Just
totally
let her be, man.
Spies.
Just let her be. All right, so so what's our good thing about that?
All of it.
Should we give a bad thing since we genuinely like this movie? It's certified B-roll fresh.
I was gonna say like
the sound design.
Really? Yeah, I guess for a movie like this, I'd like it to be punchier. Because a lot of the punching sound effects are just like. They're really bassy, Where
so you want it more like...
Yeah, I'd want them to be more like, like Super Nintendo sound effects,
You want the Street Fighter sound test again?
Yeah.
Like in every other shitty movie we've
Yeah.
watched?
I would like that
about
more.
It being too cartoony.
I was going to say that I think the scene with Brad swerving across the road makes him a little too cartoonishly evil, but I'm like, no, that's what we
I
want.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's okay.
You know what? There's nothing bad about this.
It's perfect.
Yeah, you know what?
It's fantastic.
We love you, Roadhouse.
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 Roadhouse. Roadhouse. Roadhouse. Okay, so it's going to be hard to top this one.
And we're not going to, because next week we're watching Aeon Flux.
What the fuck
Are you
is
fucking
that?
kidding me?
What?
You fucking kidding me?
What?
Aeon Flux?
That, like, shitty 90s movie. Or not 90s movie, it was a 2005 movie.
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah. It's got, like, a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I remember the trailers coming out for that. I haven't actually seen it.
I've never heard
It's
of this.
fucking balls. I've seen it.
Well, that's what we're watching next week.
Alright, well.
We're going to watch some mid-2000s schlock.
Join us next week for Aeon Flux.
So you're the only one that's seen it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. You haven't seen it?
You probably saw it opening night, you fucking dork.
So?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Next week.
See you next week.
See you next week for Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux, bye.
Roadhouse. 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 Roadhouse.
Street home.
Nice.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Open my eyes! Ah!
That's it. What, we some kind of...
B-roll boys.